Hey everybody, how's it going? We are back. We're really looking forward to all the exciting topics that we have to share with you guys. We kind of miss our audience greatly because of the value that we bring to our show. So, guys, please like, share, subscribe to the comments wherever you feel comfortable. We give you the platforms to do so. We're on all platforms: Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Guys, we're even on Pinterest. Yeah, I think we've almost covered every social media platform that there is to cover out there.
And we're just happy to be back. We're happy to be back here and back to bring value to you guys. And again, like I think we've said previously in our other shows, if there's anything in particular you guys would love us to speak about, then drop us a message or just drop us a little comment and let us know. So, because we want to give you what you want, not just what we come up with. So yeah, that would be amazing if you guys can just let us know if there's anything in particular, might be something you're going through, and you just want us to cover that subject so you can get a bit of an insight from our point of view, then please do.
Yes, email it to us, Instagram us, wherever. We have a love and relationship podcast. We're on Instagram. So look, guys, if there's ever something you want us to talk about, email us a video. Just even say, hey, would you guys please talk about this? We would be glad to. You know what I mean? Because it's not just about us. It's about the value that we bring to the community. It's like, as I said, we're not here to fix people's relationships. We're here to shine some lights that are either going to enhance your relationship, not make it how it was. It's never about your relationship staying the same. It's about enhancing it, or it's going to shine some light and you guys are going to break up.
Yeah, we want to elevate your relationship. We want you to have the best relationship you can, because that's what we thrive for too. You know, everything we speak about here, we're implementing in our own lives. We're not just speaking about it and just speaking about it. You know, we actually implement it on ourselves as well to make sure that we have better relationships.
Or we've had experience with it.
Yeah, or we've had experience with it. Yeah, we've either had the experience and that's why we discuss it, or if you know we might have discussed something and then we're able to implement it into our present day, like today, tomorrow, whatever it's going to be, you know, whatever comes up for us. So yeah, so again, we're just happy to be here and happy to be back on track.
Let's briefly touch on today's video before we share it with our amazing audience. Don't misinterpret drama for love. And I think a lot of people make that mistake. So I want this lovely content creator to break it down. I'm going to mute my mic and we're going to hear what she has to say. And then we're going to either be able to add on top of it or say, hey, you know what? We've experienced that in XYZ relationship. So we're going to share her video, which I think is a fantastic one. That's why I picked it. Hopefully you guys take something away from it, because I think it's going to be beneficial, because a lot of times people confuse the two. They think, oh, we're in love, but no, you guys, it's not love, it's drama.
Up with my husband because I thought he was boring. Turns out he was just healthy and sane. You see, when I was dating my husband, I realized how joyful he was, how active he was, how motivated, career, goal-driven, money saver, never wanted any problems. And every time we became misaligned, he would just want to sit down and talk about it calmly, hear each other out, forgive each other if necessary, and just move on and continue growing. And I misinterpreted this as him not fighting for my love. You see, I grew up in a very chaotic type of love, the novela type, where everybody's slamming doors, yelling at each other. You don't talk to each other for days. And so I thought that that was love. I thought that that was passion. And what I want to remind you of is to look back at the type of love that you grew up around and ask yourself if you were just addicted to a chaotic, dramatic type of love, and realize that that's not the type of love that you need now in your relationship, that you need now to grow. God doesn't want that for you. You understand? Look at that for a second and ask yourself, how do you want to love? How do you want to be loved? Because I'll tell you one thing, it's not the novella type of love.
Wow, she hit some nails on the head, didn't she?
Yeah, she did actually. So that's why we're gonna break it down. Look, a lot of times, and I love what she said, her husband was very peaceful. Anytime they were misaligned, he wanted to talk about it. He wanted to, come to peaceful solutions. But because she grew up in a very chaotic type of household or had chaotic relationships previously, she's like, he doesn't love me. He
Can
doesn't
I
care
just
about
ask,
me.
is she saying that she's not with him anymore?
No, they're still married.
Oh, okay, cool. So the way she was saying it was, I just assumed that maybe they're not together.
No,
But
they're
isn't
still married. It's just for her, it was like an adjustment because she was used to a certain type of love. But then being with him, it was like, okay, he's kind of boring. Like
but
why?
what she's described to me, what I hear is I don't want to say perfect because nothing's perfect, but it's the perfect type of relationship, because obviously there's disagreements still and there's things that are not aligned at all times. However, hear what she said. He sits down and he discusses it with her, and they come to a solution and they move forward. Now, I mean, so many of us have grown up in households where there is screaming and shouting and door slamming and all of that. And like, we go into a relationship and then when it happens, we actually think that that's what love is. And, it hurts my heart because I was one of those people that thought that's what love was, I totally, I remember my first proper relationship, my goodness, it was so horrible that I don't actually want to remember it. I don't want to remember it. It was horrible. Like the amount of arguing and screaming and shouting and squaring up to one another. And to me, that I don't even know who that person is anymore. Like it's got nothing to do with me. That's a very old version of myself. But so many people still experience this in their relationships, and they think, and they're addicted to that chaos because they don't know no different. So they think that that's what it is. And if they don't get it, they will provoke an argument to be able to get that fix as such, right?
Agree. And that's the thing that I love, because you see, she called her husband boring.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like, because he wasn't that way, it's like, you don't love me. And then you're, as Anthea said, you're going to start to create arguments to get the chaos, to get the love that you think is coming from that, but it's not. It's what she called a novella love. It's crazy. It's an aggressive love, but it's like, as you get older, and I think this is very important for a lot of people to process. As you get older, you need that type of boring, more relaxed, peaceful type of love. That's what because it's more sustainable. Because let's be honest, when you love, like how she was talking about with the kid, it's not sustainable.
That's right. That's right. Because it's going to have a breakdown at some point. The relationship, yes, it can carry on like that. People can go on for years and years. And I've known relationships that have been going for 20 odd years and have been chaos and had those arguments for 20 odd years. But because 20 years has now passed by, now they've got the excuse, well, why would I waste 20 years of my life? So they stick with the relationship because they've used that excuse now. So rather than actually looking at what they've created for themselves as just hasn't worked over 20 years and saying, actually, it's time to step away from this. We've tried therapy. We've tried this. We've tried talking. We're just not seeing eye to eye. We're not compatible for each other. Let's just go our own ways and let's allow ourselves to actually find ourselves, and let's allow ourselves to enjoy the rest of our lives, whatever's left of our lives, But instead they hold it to other hostage because they're so frightened that if they walk away from this relationship, that they're not going to find somebody else, that things are going to go wrong, and that they've wasted all those years. But it's not a waste. I want to make this so abundantly clear. It's not a waste. It's experience. It's what you can take moving forward. And I'm not saying to anybody split up in your relationship. I'm just saying that if that's what's going on, has been going on in your relationship, and it's pure chaos and there is no respect and it's all about slamming doors and arguing, and like, do you really want to live like that?
Well, I want to add something actually, because those type of people that are used to chaos, if you've noticed their history of dating, their relationships have all been chaotic. You know what I mean? So even if they break up with that individual, as you said, like let's say they split off and break up, the next one they're going to get into is going to be chaotic too.
Yeah.
Because that's what they know.
That's all they know. That's all they know. So they're just going to, unless they take their time out for themselves to heal and to come to the core problems, core issues of what's really going on within you, and give yourself that time to adjust and change and be able to work on yourself and become that better version of yourself. And you know when you've become a better version of yourself, like I know within myself now, that person that I'm speaking about who was 22 years old is definitely not who sits here today. It's still the same name and the same person like that, but that identity is no longer attached to me. I dealt with it. It's a different reaction now. If somebody gets on my nerves or someone tries to create chaos in my life, it's very rare that you will get a response from me. I don't need to deal with it. And it depends. It depends.
I was going to say, you said you don't need to deal with it, but see, in a relationship, you might have to deal with it differently.
Yes, you might have to deal with it differently. So if my partner came to me now and tried to create that, I would definitely sit down and deal with it. But there's people that I don't need to deal with it because
100%.
What I was going to say, it depends on who that person is, to whether I feel they deserve me to even give them that time to be able to break down what the problem is, or if I just walk away. It's up to me at the end of the day. I can either take that time or not. But in a relationship, if I'm deep into a relationship, I will 100% sit down and discuss it. And if it's not resolved, I'll give it a couple of times, and if it's still continuing, then I'm out. Like I really don't need that in my world. Like if I'm at peace by myself, then why would I allow a person to come in and distract my peace? Why would I? To me, it doesn't make sense.
I would give a different answer similar to yours, but what I would say is I would healthily discuss it. And if I saw that it came up more than once, then I would suggest, hey, look, maybe you need to go to therapy. Maybe we need to split off for a little bit. You need to go to therapy, and then we can come back and discuss it. That would be my alternative to that. Because again, when you're getting to know somebody, you have to be able to identify these things. Because I personally believe that someone that's chaotic should not be dating.
Absolutely.
If they are used to chaotic behavior, go sit on the bench, go figure it out, then come back in the dating. Because in the dating market, you become a problem now. You're not anybody's peace. You're not anybody's helpmate. You're not anybody's leader as a man. As a woman, you're not anybody's peace. You're a problem. So if you're a problem, then you need to go and work on that problem and figure it out. And then you can come back and start dating healthily. And I think that's the mistake that a lot of people are making, is they're not dating healthily. So I love that her husband, think of how crazy this is. Her husband was so patient enough to work with her through it.
Because he understood her.
Because he could have said, I'm out. He could have said, no, I don't want to do it. I'm out.
And that's what I believe, a true connection and respect. Because we've said before, and I stick with it, respect comes before love. And if somebody respects you, they're going to respect you to the point that they're going to listen and hear you and understand. So her husband knows through time, and he's taken the time to hear her, not just listen to her, actually take it on board. Because of that respect, and that respect has grown to love, he hears her and he's listened to what's happened in her childhood. So he's understood what's happened. So then he's able to come to her it with a new perspective and be able to show her, not just speak it in words, because again, yes, people can talk, but if your actions don't align with your words, it still doesn't work. You're having a misalignment at all times. So it's about, her husband has come, he's understood, he's aligned with what she's talking about, he gets it, and he's listening to her, and he's coming to solutions. And she's thinking, oh my God, this guy's boring. But she understood over time, it's not being boring, it's just him completely understand. And this is what a true relationship is about. It's about peace. It's about coming to solutions together and being able to move forward and grow together. And yes, everyone's got stuff from, like, everyone's got some kind of something from their past. Nobody comes completely 110% clean cut, fully healed in every way possible, because even when you think you're healed, something will happen and can trigger something and you didn't even know that was there. But if your partner can understand that, and you can understand your partner, and you have times where you sit down and conversate together and have those conversations, then the only thing that's going to come from it is goodness.
Well, I'm going to say something very different. Her husband penetrated her with love, and that's what changed her opinion on not wanting the chaos. Because of him wanting to sit down and talk and discuss. You see, she couldn't comprehend it at first because she's like, why is this not chaotic? You know, because again, as she explained, when it was never chaotic, she didn't feel like the person loved her. But he loved her more than anything because he penetrated her with love. He came with compassion. He came with understanding. You know what I mean? And then she's sitting there like, he's boring. But then it's like in her subconscious mind, she's sitting there like, this guy's penetrating me with love. He actually really does love me because he's not chaotic.
Yeah. And that's what her realization came to. And I think this is what I want to shine the light on in this particular podcast, to say, like, hear her, what she's saying. This is love. He's actually helped her understand what a true relationship is about, where it's a deep love there. And it's not about screaming and shouting at each other. It's not about slamming the doors and not listening and then getting into that chaotic mode, because that is what you've been taught.
Or that's what you've
programmed, and you've seen. Well, when you've seen that you're being taught it, that's literally what it equates to. So you're being programmed over time to think that that's how relationships are. So when you get into a relationship, your first relationship, you don't know. All you know is what you've seen, what you've learned, the behavior of the people around you. That's all you've learned. So you go into that relationship mimicking that same behavior.
Agreed.
Until somebody comes along, like somebody like him, and shows her different. And I bet you it took quite a bit of time to get there. But
for sure.
Yeah, the patience, the respect, the love allowed him to open that space for her and give her that time, you know, to be able to come to that understanding that this is what love is, not what she experienced growing up.
But it's so interesting. And I love this, though, because imagine you have people in their 30s addicted to chaos. Imagine that. 30 years old and you're seeking chaos.
Yeah. And
you're seeking for destructive behaviors, for doors to be slammed, yelling, someone disrespecting you, and you're seeking this type of love. Because again, like I've had the wonderful pleasure of talking to a lot of women, and I've noticed that with certain guys, especially when they're very disrespectful men, and as Anthea said on Monday's podcast, but I just really, really like him, but he is so chaotic and so destructive in his behavior, and they're like, but I really like him, and they're labeling that as healthy. They're labeling that as this is a good thing.
Yeah. They honestly think it's something. I've had conversations with people that are in that chaoticness, and they crave it, they want it, they just. I mean, it does it. I think, why would you want it? But it's not for me to, at the end of the day, unless somebody gets that true help in themselves, or they want to help themselves, they're just going to keep seeking that until they realize this isn't healthy for me. And until you come to that realization in yourself, then you're going to continue to live it, and you're not going to think anything other than this is just what it is, or this is the cards I've been dealt. I've heard,
Oh, I've heard
it's
that
like,
one too. Well,
yeah,
they create their own delusion to try to justify why this behavior is acceptable.
yes,
Because
yes,
it's like, even if you were to get into a relationship with them, right, and you're seeing this chaos, how do you consider that healthy long term?
yeah. But they can't see past what's happening. So I think people that are in that kind of relationship, like I know when I was in those relationships, I didn't really think about 5 years down the line. It didn't come to my mind. It was more to deal with what was happening day in, day out.
Yeah, like that person made you feel good. So it's like, that's all that mattered.
Well, yeah, I didn't even know if they made me feel good. I was addicted to that kind of behavior at the time. And if the feeling good was a lot less than the arguments, but I didn't know how to break it off because that's all I knew. I only knew arguments. I knew exactly, that's what I grew up with. So the fact that I grew up with that, then to me, it was normal. This is relationship. This is how it is. I didn't know no different. Nobody showed me any different. I didn't see anything. Even when I see people that appear to be happy, my thought process, and I remember thinking, yeah, you're just going to go home and argue. You're just doing that because you're in the streets and you're walking. I actually believed that that's how it's supposed to be, until I started, I want to say becoming older. I don't like saying that, until my experiences become more and more over the years.
Well, I think that's what opened my eyes, because again, and this is on both sides, that as I think you get older, you start to look for more sustainable relationships.
Yes, absolutely. You do.
And
You want peace.
Exactly. And
peace.
some people don't, because again, they're used to that, but then they're complaining that none of their relationships work out when there's a chaotic factor of you being addicted to bad behavior and chaotic behavior.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, again, it's going to tie into Friday's episode, is handling rejection, because I've seen some people misinterpret that bad behavior, or like mistake drama for love, and the person's kindly, respectfully rejected them, but then they're like, oh, I'm going to try to convince their mind, and then the other person still like treats them like a partner or whatever, but doesn't commit to them. Right. So we're going to talk about that on Friday. But I think a lot of times, and again, I didn't want to drag this topic on because I think it's pretty clear cut, is that, again, you need to really know yourself. And there's some things that you might need to address to make you an appropriate partner for an individual.
Absolutely.
And I honestly think that, again, I'm not going to say we're out here looking for the one, because this is not the Matrix. But you're looking for somebody where you guys can do life with, and there's suitability. So you guys complement each other's life, not compatibility, because a lot of people will say, well, we're compatible. No, you guys could be compatible in trauma. You know what I mean? You guys could be compatible in drama.
I'm glad you said that.
So I always say, like, you could be compatible with a demon. You know, I like to say that because it's like that person has very chaotic behavior, and you're addicted to that. So I think as you get older, there becomes a heightened level of awareness to say, this really doesn't work for me. Some people get it. Some people don't.
I think it completely, again, comes back to how you've been brought up, what you've seen around you, what you believe a good relationship is. And I think what we want to shine a light on here is, yes, you, like Michael rightfully said, you could be compatible with the monsters, because your personality and the way you deal with relationships is exactly the same. So you're going to have
bonding.
You're going to, yes, exactly that, trauma bonding. And that is that's not the way forward. So I think what I want to highlight is a good relationship doesn't involve that on a daily basis. Yes, there's going to be a disagreement. Yes, there could be some stuff, your voice being raised at times, but there's no swearing at each other or calling each other names or being disrespectful or continuously being disrespectful
or creating drama intentionally
or creating drama intentionally. Yeah, absolutely. That's not
to
what
get that
you should
fixed.
strive for in a relationship. If that's what's going on in your relationship, you should really stop and think about and speak with your partner and say, you know, look, this is what you can see what's been going on, and we can't continue like this, because you know what, like, I don't know why this has come to me to say this, but I'm just going to say it. The biggest killer in this world is stress.
It is, yes.
Right? It's the biggest killer. And where does stress come from? Relationships is one of them.
And yeah, it actually is one of the gateways. Please, guys, like, there's a few of you in here. Put trauma bond in the chat if you guys want us to ever cover trauma bonding. We'll find a video and we will cover trauma bonding. But look, relationships are never easy, right? There's going to be discord, but there should never be disrespect.
Yeah.
You see, that's the one thing that you guys might disagree on some things, but there should never be disrespect where there's slamming of doors, rudeness, all that other stuff. You guys can disagree 100%. That's okay. That's normal. But once you start to waver into name calling, swearing, berating, you need to check your relationship.
Yeah, you're going on the wrong side of things. And do you want to go over to the comments? Do you want to read over the comments?
I see a few of them here. So, we can read one from Richard. Exactly. Compatibility, attracted, adaptability, equal support of each other. Exactly. I love that. Adaptability. I think that is super important. Thank you again for commenting on that. Adaptability and suitability. How do you guys fit into each other's lives? And he's posting an amazing comment here. I think in my 52 years, my mom and dad were with me. Only two arguments. Two.
That's amazing.
And they were together for 52 arguments.
Wow.
And that's what I'm saying. I think as a man, and again, I'm going to say this because you're the leader in the relationship, you're the captain of the ship, you need to control certain narratives. If that's your girl, why are you raising your voice to her?
Yeah.
Why are you calling her name in the book? She's a representative of you. When she's out, when she's with you, she's representing you. So why would you, I'm not even called better half, but why would you call this person that you've picked to do life with, the mother of your children, whatever you want to call it, all these names in the book when they're supposed to represent you?
Yeah.
So all you're doing is saying a reflection of yourself.
Yeah. And people don't realize that. They actually will just look at blame the other person. It's like, well, no, actually, look at you. Like, it was what you just said was so on point. It is when your woman goes out, she's representing you, man. Like, she's your representation. So actually, like, I know I often bring my children into this because they're I have a relationship with them. So I always say, if they're going to go somewhere, let's say a wedding, and I'm not going to attend, I always say, go and represent our family, represent who we are. Yeah. So I'm not having them that, like, I don't want to hear that they've gone and got themselves into a stupid state, or they've got themselves. No.
It makes you look bad. Bad.
I'm your mother. Yeah. So if you're going to turn up to these places, you turn up in your respectful way and you represent who I am, who your brother is, or who your sister is, whoever, if it's both of them together, however it works. And that's what it is. And if I go somewhere without them, I'm representing my two children too, because I'm turning up as their mum. So whoever I am is going to be a reflection of who my kids are.
Agreed. So, it's the same thing if you had a man and you went out dancing with your girls, like crazy dancing, and then someone was like, went to your man and said, yo, like, your girl was out here wilding out, dancing on stage, shaking her behind, and he's gonna be like, because again, that's disrespecting him, because it's
of
like,
course. And
you're representing him, but then you're out here doing single behavior. So
yes, so that to me again is like, if I'm going to go and do something like that, exactly what you said, it's disrespecting my man. And just because he's not there, it doesn't mean I'm not disrespecting him. I'm disrespecting, because I'm disrespecting myself first and foremost.
Yeah.
By behaving like that. And someone,
you're showing how much you value the relationship. You don't value it so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why respect comes first. Like, because if I'm in a relationship and I respect my partner, which I believe is the core basis of a relationship, if I'm respecting him and he's respecting me, it wouldn't even come to my mind to behave like that. But if I'm at home and I'm causing arguments, he's causing arguments, we're both causing arguments, I wouldn't care. I would go and do that just to wind him up. And that's what a lot of people do. They would do it. Right. They do it for the wind-up merchant side of things, because they know it's going to get to them, because, oh, he done this, or she done this, and she done that. So they'll go and behave in the way they're feeling. So their behavior represents their emotions. So
man, I've heard all types of stories. I've heard of like married people, like the husband saying like to his wife or his woman, "You're such a B," and I'm like, what? Like, I've never heard it, but like, I have different discussions, and I'm like appalled. I am shocked that people would disrespect their wife like this, or even disrespect their husband.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
I just wanted to, there was just another comment that, is it Les had said? She said she'd been, I don't know if it's I think it's a lady. Les could be a lady, it could be a male, I'm not sure. So been married twice, first 10 years, first 10 years, second 38, still married. So Les,
that's Richard. That's
is that Richard?
Yeah, that's Richard, yes.
Are you sure? Is that two?
Yeah.
Isn't that two different people? You got Richard and you got Les. Is Les? No, there's Les Leverman.
Oh, okay, I'm reading Richard's comments. Sorry.
Okay. So I just wanted to ask, just quickly, with Les, they said the second marriage is still married. Is there a key factor that you could add in the comments that you could say has helped you be married? And I'm assuming you're happily married. Maybe I'm assuming wrong, but if it is that you're happily married, is there something that you found you've done completely different this time round that's helped you have a healthier relationship? If you don't mind, if you could answer that, that would be amazing. Thank you, Richard. Says, I love Anthea Moffey. Oh, thank you. That's really nice.
Yeah, please, guys, do. And his question here: why do people spread rumors and lies?
Because they're hiding something behind themselves.
Some people are hurt. You got to understand that some people have trauma that they've never addressed, or things that they've never dealt with, right? So a lot of times they will practice malicious behavior, right? Because they haven't dealt with some stuff inside of them. That's what I mean. I don't get angry when people act out of line or spread rumors or lie or malicious, because I'm just like, clearly you have some stuff that you haven't dealt with. Clearly you have some pain in your life that's making you behave this certain way.
Yes. And you know what? And I can actually touch on this on a very recent thing that I've experienced, where somebody had said lies about myself, and the way they reacted to the lies they'd been told was attacking me. So I didn't reply because, like I said, I don't have time for that. But what I did do is I waited to see that person, and I sat down and I asked them what seems to be the problem. And they lashed out and say, oh, this person said this. And I asked the question, has anybody ever lied about you and made up stories about you? And they replied, yeah, loads of times. I said, and were they true? And they said, no. I said, okay, so you know me. Do you believe that? And they were like, I can't see, it doesn't sound like you. It doesn't reflect you. Okay, so you lashing out is that you've got a problem. You've got the issues. I just seem to be the target here. So at the end of the day, there has to be an apology, because people will make up stories about you, because they are, like Michael rightfully said, people hurt, people have had trauma, people have had all these different things going on. And I believe a lot of these things also come into jealousy. Is one of the things.
It doesn't excuse malicious behavior, just before
it doesn't excuse malicious behavior. No, it doesn't excuse any of it. But at the end of the day, I calmly sat with this person face to face, because everything they were doing was over the phone. It was behind a screen. But I've got the front to go and stand, because I know me. I know who I am, and I know. So had I not known what I was about and who I am, and I felt like that was any kind of truth, then maybe I would have lashed out back. Maybe that's what my reaction would be. But because I know myself, and what I was reading was, to me, was like, so boring. Like, honestly, I sat with the person face to face, and they couldn't actually look at me to start with. Their head was down.
See, that's why.
So, you know?
So look, guys, we're going to wrap this up. And we're really grateful for the people that have liked, shared, and subscribed. As we said, guys, help us grow this channel, not for selfish reasons, but just to educate people to make better choices in relationships, choose better partners. And as I said, we're here to always have the tough conversations. Even if you hate us and you put a dislike button, that's okay. Because at the end of the day, you know, we're here to add inherent value to our audience and for the people to take away what they need to make their relationship enhance.
Yeah. So
as I said, we're going to do two things for you. We're either going to enhance your relationship or break it up. Because there have been, because let's be honest, there have been people that have watched our content. Like again, like, you know, Anthea's told me some people have watched it, like some of her friends, and they're like, I don't like what you said. But it's true. So, you know what I mean? Those are the responses that we're looking for. We don't like what you said.
That is true.
It's truth. Okay.
Yeah, and I just want to thank everyone who's supported us this evening and has sat with us and listened and interacted with us. Like, we so appreciate it. Honestly,
Yes.
God bless. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And like, you know, Michael said, you can like and share, carry on leaving us comments. You know, if you want to carry on after this is the broadcast has ended, you know, we'll reply to you. So, and Richard says, I don't hate, I love. And I love that. And that's what it's about. It's all about love. It's about spreading the love and helping us all grow and helping us all come together and connect.
And also remember, guys, if you guys don't want to watch us talk for 40 minutes, there's we have a YouTube channel where it's the clipped version. So we clip out a version where you guys can watch a quick 2 minutes of it. And then if you want to watch the first full version, it is available. So just remember that as well. Plus, we also have our YouTube shorts that you guys can watch as well. So we greatly appreciate everybody's time and attention today. Hopefully you took something away from it to reflect either on your own relationship, to say, hey, I'm in a chaotic situation. How do I handle this? How do I deal with this? So that is more of our forte. And our job was just to add massive amounts of value. So we're going to end it off for the night. We greatly appreciate everybody here today. And we will see you guys on Friday's live stream.
See you later, everybody.